Gentlewoman from Florida is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume. Mr.
Gentlewoman is
Speaker,
recognized.
I rise in strong opposition to this resolution, as it would undermine the efforts of our military and our international partners in Afghanistan and gravely harm our nation's security. Insanity has been described as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. 3,000 people died on September 11th because we walked away once from Afghanistan thinking that it didn't matter who controlled that country. We were wrong then. Let us not make the same mistake twice. Completing our mission in Afghanistan is essential to keeping our homeland safe. As Undersecretary of Defense Mr. Flournoy stated in testimony to the Senate Armed Services Committee earlier this week, quote, "The threat to our national security and the security of our friends and allies that emanates from the borders of Afghanistan and Pakistan is not hypothetical. There is simply no other place in the world that contains such a concentration of senior al-Qaeda leaders and operational commanders." Continues, "To allow these hostile organizations to flourish in this region is to put the security of the United States and our friends and allies at grave risk." End quote. To quit the area before we've rooted out the terrorists would not only hand al-Qaeda a propaganda victory of immeasurable value, but it would cede them a sanctuary from which they could mount fresh strikes at the West with virtual immunity. To withdraw from Afghanistan at this point, before we finish the job, is to pave the way for the next 9/11. Therefore, the question that we must consider is, can we afford to abandon our mission in Afghanistan? General David Petraeus, Commander, International Security Assistance Force, ISAF, Commander, U.S. Forces, Afghanistan, stated, quote, "I can understand the frustration. We have been at this for 10 years. We have spent an enormous amount of energy and money. We have sustained very tough losses and difficult, life-changing wounds. But I think it is important to remember why we are there." End quote. This is about our vital national security interests, Mr. Speaker. It is about doing what is necessary to ensure that al-Qaeda and other extremists cannot reestablish safe havens, such as the ones they had in Afghanistan when the 9/11 attacks were planned against our nation and our people. The enemy indeed is on the run. It is demoralized and divided. Let us not give up now. Let us not betray the sacrifices of our men and women served harm's way, and they ask for nothing in return except our full support. Dedicated servants such as my stepson and daughter-in-law Lindsay, who served in Iraq, and Lindsay also served in Afghanistan. Dedicated servants such as Matt Zweig and Greg McCarthy of our Foreign Affairs Committee, the majority staff who just returned from serving a year, and we thank them for their service. They're right behind me, in Kandahar and Kabul. Let us follow the lead of our wounded warriors who, after long and arduous recoveries, volunteered to return to the battlefield, to finish their mission. I urge our colleagues